Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. What are we going to talk about today? Well, it's step 5 of, I believe step 5 of the Nxtreme speaker build, and today we're going to talk about No Rez. Normally this would be the last step in the process, or one of the last steps, but because I'm waiting still on the drivers, they're still on back order, they should be coming soon, and also the replacement baffles for the damage that I highlighted in previous videos. I was in Dallas, so I decided to just stop by Danny's, pick up I think it's 9 sheets. It's quite a bit of No Rez that goes into this speaker, and pick some up, and I could start at least cutting based on the baffle dimensions that I have here, so that I'm ready and save some time later. Now again, this is quite a bit of No Rez and it's not cheap, but I would not skimp on this process and think you could get away with assembling the speaker without it. Certainly you could, but I've used No Rez style products, not this exact one, and it definitely helps curb resonances in speakers and baffles. If you've seen my previous videos, upstairs I have a speaker that had a lot of baffle resonances, and similar products to this worked really well in taking care of that. This product's even thicker in terms of the depth of the foam and density, and also the adhesive back here adds some stability to whatever it's attached to. So this will actually probably even work better than what I've used in the past. So don't skimp on this is my recommendation. I think this is really a critical part of the speaker, even though it's on the back and on the side baffles. You wouldn't think it'd be necessary, but trust me, resonances pop up no matter what. So cutting these, you'd think it'd be super easy, and it probably is if you've got a bandsaw or table saw, but a few things to give you some tips if you don't have that. First of all, I don't, and I didn't want to go buy one or borrow one. Sometimes I have kids over and all that, so it's just not even worth me getting one. So I wanted to see what would be my success rate using just a knife, a serrated knife. This is the same kind you would use to cut like insulation, very sharp but serrated, and then scoring it first with a box cutter to get through the thick backer. And of course you're going to need some measurement tools, and to draw lines you're going to need a marker. So pretty simple, but a couple things that you're going to want to think about ahead of time, especially if you're doing it like me, well ahead of time when you really should. You want to be able to measure properly. And so what I did was I put the speaker semi together with the baffles that I did have and put a backer just to kind of get the right measurements, because it's probably, the baffles measure about 15 inches depth, but you're going to want to basically cut 2 inches off for the front baffle, taking up some of that space, and then also you have the holes for running the wires that you're going to want to leave some room for. Now if you're going to just use one channel on either side for all your wiring, you probably could go ahead and cover up the wiring on one side, but basically I just cut it down 2 inches from the length of the baffle, about 13 inches, and I've got enough room for the wires to run. And then the other thing is, even though I don't have the cleanest cut with the serrated edge, it's not perfect, but it's not that bad. The thing that you have to realize is it's going to be in your back of the speaker, number one, but the only side that's showing is going to be this. The other 3 edges of your No Rez are going to be flanked by the front baffle and these braces that'll be on top and bottom. So you really won't ever see any imperfections in the cut, as long as you're not really ridiculous about it or warped. As long as it's straight, you should be fine. If you want to not do it with a table saw or bandsaw. So just go ahead, and when you're planning out your cuts, just make sure that there's already pre-cut edges around all of the 4 square parts of the No Rez. So just go ahead and make sure that the edge part is the part that you adhere to the back of the baffle. A couple things that you're going to have to worry about in terms of not ideal measurements are This part up here, you're gonna have a curve. You know, I guess you could cut it off and not worry about the curve. And then down here, this one is angled. So it's a little bit higher than over here. There's an angle. So it's not a perfect square. So make sure, again, you measure and kind of assemble. Again, if you're doing this after assembly, it should be a lot easier to make sure you don't make any of these mistakes and cover any holes for running wires and stuff like that. But that was why I put this together, just to make sure I wasn't going to do anything crazy, and it was time well spent to do this. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful to you guys. I don't have much else to show you at this point. As soon as the drivers and the new baffles come in, though, we should be ready to roll. So stay tuned and we'll see you soon.